This video will cover the U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division. I'm Nicholas, and you're watching the Law Enforcement Agency Information Channel. The U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division, or USSS-UD for short, is the primary uniform division of the U.S. Secret Service, or USSS for short, which is essentially a federal law enforcement agency under the Department of Homeland Security, or DHS for short. The U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division specifically falls under the U.S. Secret Service's Office of Protective Operations and is responsible for protecting and policing the White House, Treasury Building, Number 1 Observatory Circle, and foreign embassies within the greater, especially those within the greater Washington D.C. metropolitan area. Anyways, their individual duties or specific duties include protecting and facilitating who comes in and out of U.S. Secret Service served buildings and facilities, such as the White House, assisting in the protection of important U.S. Secret Service served officials, such as the President, when they visit U.S. Secret Service served buildings and facilities, such as the White House, responding to emergencies on or nearby U.S. Secret Service served buildings and facilities, investigating crimes taken on and threats towards U.S. Secret Service served buildings and facilities, working with fellow divisions of the U.S. Secret Service, such as the U.S. Secret Service's Special Operations Division, the U.S. Secret Service's Presidential Protection Division, and the U.S. Secret, sorry, my computer must shut off there, and the U.S. Secret Service's Criminal Investigations Division, working with fellow law enforcement agencies, including the Federal Protective Service and the Washington D.C. Metropolitan Police, especially when protecting U.S. Secret Service served buildings and facilities, and etc. Additionally, this only covers their everyday or primary responsibilities, the things they conduct on a day-to-day basis. Aside from that, they may also occasionally provide security during high-risk national security-related events for which U.S. Secret Service served officials, such as the President, attend to, such as including presidential inaugurations and etc. This is a part of a overall cooperative agreement with multiple federal law enforcement agencies, including, of course, the U.S. Secret Service's Uniform Division, but also the U.S. Park Police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Federal Protective Service, the U.S. Capitol Police, and etc. So yeah. Additionally, I should probably also bring up that U.S. Secret Service, if you're planning to join the U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division, if you're planning to become a U.S. Secret Service uniformed police officer, you should definitely do so, because I mean, I personally think it's a really good position. If you are planning to join, just know that, sorry, my computer almost shut off there. Just know that you actually will get paid pretty good. It is actually in my opinion, one of the best uniform federal law enforcement positions, at least by salary, as they, unlike most uniform federal law enforcement positions, they pay their police officers really good. The average base level or entry level annual salary of a U.S. Secret Service uniformed police officer is $70,000 to $80,000 per year, which is really good compared to, again, other federal law enforcement other uniformed federal law enforcement positions, such as the FBI police. Additionally, it's actually really funny. According to past or former U.S. Secret Service uniformed police officers, their overall job is actually really relaxed. Hearing that is kind of funny to me, considering the U.S. Secret Service in general is actually considered one of the most stressful federal law enforcement positions. However, again, it kind of does make sense, because when we say when the Secret Service, as the Secret Service is referred to as a very stressful law enforcement position, what they're really referring to when they say the Secret Service is a stressful position is the special agents who are out there protecting the president. Because you see, those special agents, that I will admit, though, that is a very stressful job. It is really hard. However, U.S. Secret Service uniformed police officers, my computer, I'm going to shut up there. U.S. Secret Service uniformed police officers generally do not protect the president, or at least directly. They may occasionally provide security during when the president visits, but they won't directly protect him. That's the job. That's the role of a U.S. Secret Service special agent, specifically one from the Presidential Protection Division. Speaking of special agents, I do want to clarify this common misconception regarding the Secret Service Uniform Division. The common misconception is that so many people mistake Secret Service police officers and Secret Service special agents for being the same. I want to clarify that in reality they are completely separate. A Secret Service special agent is an investigative position within the Secret Service, responsible for their responsibilities depend on what division they are within. However, it usually regards either investigating federal crimes and threats towards the president, or directly protecting federal executive officials such as the president. What was I going to say? Sorry, I lost it there. Yeah, so that's really it, actually. That's really it for their responsibilities and overall duties. So yeah. In 1922, the White House Police, a former federal law enforcement agency charged with protecting the White House and the president, was founded. Later on, in 1930, the White House Police was merged by the U.S. Secret Service. All of its officers, all of the former White House police officers, were transferred to the U.S. Secret Service. It still remained a force, but under the Secret Service. Later on in 1970, the White House Police changed its name to the Executive Protective Service. And then later on in 1977, the Executive Protective Service officially changed its name to the U.S. Secret Service Uniformed Division, which is what it's known as today. That's a brief history of the U.S. Secret Service Uniformed Division for you. U.S. Secret Service uniformed police officers are federal officers with authority to carry firearms, issue warrantless arrests, and carry out warrants. They have domestic-wide jurisdiction throughout the United States and its individual territories to protect and investigate crimes taken on and threats towards U.S. Secret Service served buildings and facilities. While they primarily operate on while the majority of U.S. Secret Service served buildings and facilities are located in Washington D.C. They are a federal law enforcement, a civilian staff federal law enforcement agency with jurisdiction throughout the U.S. At least to investigate and combat crimes taken on U.S. Secret Service served buildings and facilities. Anyways, they derive their jurisdiction and authority from Title 18 of the U.S. Code. U.S. Secret Service uniformed police officers train for approximately 29 weeks at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia, and at the James J. Rowley Training Center in Laurel, Maryland. Their training, unlike the training of U.S. Secret Service special agents, is focused heavily on uniformed police tactics. So, everyday tactics of general uniformed police officers. Again, however, I should point out this is only in order to get into the agency. If you want to join one of their specialized units or tactical units, such as the counter sniper team, you will have to apply to the training for those respective units. So yeah. That's really for their training. The requirements to becoming a U.S. Secret Service uniformed police officer are that, number one, you must be a U.S. citizen. Number two, you must have a clean record, so no past criminal activity whatsoever. Number three, you must have a active state-issued driver's license. Number four, you must have a GED, General Education's Diploma, or higher. And then number five, I believe, number five, you must be both mentally and physically fit. And then number six, you must have good eyesight and hearing. Number seven, you must be between the ages of 20 and 27 when applying, and be between the ages of 21 and 27 upon acceptance. So yeah, that's really it. That's really it for their minimum requirements. Again, you additionally will need a top secret security clearance. I probably should point that out. However, that really weighs upon requirements 1 and 2. If you have achieved requirements 1 and 2, so having being a U.S. citizen and having no criminal records, then you should be able to get a top secret security clearance. Again, you will be joining the Secret Service and be protecting the headquarters of our president, so it would make sense why they require that. It is not only the Secret Service Uniform Division that requires a top secret security clearance. Sorry, my computer almost shut off there. Other federal law enforcement agencies, such as the Pentagon Force Protection Agency and etc., also require it. So yeah. The U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division works with multiple law enforcement agencies. For example, U.S. Secret Service uniformed police officers assigned to the White House will very often work with officers from the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, for whom they share mutual aid agreements with. Additionally, the U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division also very frequently collaborates with the Federal Protective Service, for whom they share direct concurrent jurisdiction with. And another example is when the president visits the White House, they will very often coordinate with the U.S. Secret Service Presidential Protection Division, or the President's Protective Detail, in other words, to ensure the safety of the president during his visit. So yeah, they very often do collaborate with law enforcement agencies, and I think that's a very good fellow law enforcement agencies, and I think that's a very good thing. The rank structure of the U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division from high to low is in the following order: Chief, Deputy Chief, Assistant Chief, Inspector, Captain, Lieutenant, Sergeant, and lastly, Officer. The U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division reports to the Deputy Director of the U.S. Secret Service, who reports to the Director of the U.S. Secret Service, who reports to the Secretary of Homeland Security, who reports to the President of the United States. The U.S. Secret Service's Uniform Division is broken down into units, officially known as branches. Each branch covers a specific area or activity for which the Secret Service Uniform Division protects. These branches include the White House branch, the Naval Observatory branch, the Special Operations branch, and lastly, the Foreign Missions branch.